I'm not sure how I feel about this hair situation. Hold on. Is it weird to like wear the backwards cap? Is that better? I think that's worse. I probably should have washed my hair yesterday and I was too lazy to. So I'll wash it tonight. But for now, we have the Blue Jays hat on. If it wasn't obvious, I'm in a different location right now. If it wasn't obvious from the Blue Jays hat, I am currently in the GTA, the Greater Toronto area. I'm working here for the summer. I also watched, on the way over here, I watched Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, and I loved it. It was so fun. I actually went out and bought a copy as well, a DVD copy. It was still playing in theaters here when I moved here. So I went and watched it in a theater and then I went and bought a copy. I do want to go in and watch the commentary of this because like this movie's great. I ended up just making my way through the Viceland series. I ended up making my way through that, and then I've been making my way through the web series. I'm kind of on a pause right now because I don't know, I've only got a few more episodes left, so I've kind of been putting off finishing it. I also did make an edit of Matt and Jay to Russian Roulette by Red Velvet, but we don't really need to talk about that right now. That was a whole lot of nothing to say that I haven't been reading as much as I should have. So I thought I would just check in. And this was meant to be like a June/Toronto summer TBR. And I was supposed to make this like a few weeks ago. And I kind of filmed one and then I let it sit to the point where I didn't like it anymore. So here we are. I have a nice little pile of books that I brought with me to Toronto. I only let myself bring 6 books and I have bought 1 book since I've been here, and then I got one from the library because I have a Toronto Public Library card. I love this thing so much. Oh wait, I'm not going to show you the back. I love it a lot. It makes me very happy because we all know having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. I just want to talk about some of my reading plans for current and also the summer because I was in a bit of like a reading slump/standstill when I first moved here, and I'm trying to get back on the grind. First book that I have been reading, which is the one I bought from BMV, is James Baldwin's If Beale Street Could Talk. This was unfortunately in a bag that had a water bottle that I didn't know was a bit leaky in it, so it has kind of gotten destroyed a little bit by water damage, but it's fine. It's functional. I'm really loving this. I don't know, James Baldwin is like known for being a very like classic author, or like, you know, modern classic author, and his writing though is still so accessible, and it's also like it's so simple, but it's also like very beautiful. And he'll say certain things, like there's a lot of stuff that's kind of like beautiful stuff that's put in through these paragraphs that like you read it and it's simple and it's understandable, but the way that he words things is just so beautiful. This book, it's about this couple. They love each other very much. They're quite young and they're planning on getting married. And then Fonnie, he ends up getting imprisoned for something he did not do. You basically follow his fiance who's pregnant and like the family as they try and work towards getting him out of prison, and they just have so much love for each other. It's so, I know it's going to be painful because of the time period, because of the way it's described. They're a Black couple, and so we've already been told that there's some stuff surrounding the circumstances of his imprisonment that have a lot of typical racist connotations. I think that this is not going to be a happy story, but I'm also like, this isn't a spoiler. I don't fully know what's going to happen. I'm getting the kind of like, there's almost this mindset that regardless of what ends up happening, there's this mindset that it's better to have loved and lost than to have not loved at all. And yeah, I have no clue how accurate that is. Again, I haven't finished it. Even from the beginning, you're kind of like from the back of the book, you're told that Fonnie is falsely accused and imprisoned of something. So none of that is a spoiler. And I really want to try and finish it tonight. I told myself I was going to finish it yesterday, and then I got lost in the sauce of Vegas versus Carolina game 2, and it didn't happen. But tonight, I'm going to try. The next thing that I have been reading, I say I have been reading, I read about like, I think 20-something-ish pages one night, and I haven't opened it for like the few days because I've been reading If Beale Street Could Talk, and this is like a heavier read, but it's We Breed Lions. Hold on, let me hold it differently. There you go. We Breed Lions by Rick Westhead. And the tagline is Confronting Canada's Troubled Hockey Culture. Yeah, this book, it was put together by one of the main journalists who broke the news story about the Hockey Canada trial. That the trial itself happened last I think July. This is about the Hockey Canada trial specifically, but it also touches on like the overall toxic hockey culture and things like masculinity and the toxic like hyper masculine space that it is. Also how they treat women, how they treat gay people, how all of the hazing culture as well that comes into play, and how other players are seen and how they see themselves. I'm enjoying it so far. It's weird to say enjoy about this book, but it is so well written. It is so well researched as well. It's like not just focusing on how like I guess it's looking at how the system all feeds into itself and how these different parts of it interact with each other, because this isn't just about misogyny. It's not just about the hypermasculinity. It's not just about how like gay people are also seen in these spaces. It's and like also I guess how even where like CTE comes into this stuff and how the NHL refuses to acknowledge the correlation or that there's a causation between playing hockey and CTE. Like all of these things, they're kind of fed into each other to create this toxic hockey culture. All the quotes I've seen of people talking about it online, it's like the type of thing where you read something and you have to do like take a breath and just think about how things got to that point and the fact that these are things that are like regularly happening and these are mindsets that people regularly have in this sport and what can be done to start putting change towards that. And I think this book is something that will hopefully at least make a case for future change. So yeah, I'm reading that right now. And then also I've been reading a couple of Mary Oliver poems. This is from New and Selected Poems, Volume 1. I've been reading a couple of these here and there. I don't know. I tried to I had a few days where I was reading one or two each night, and then I kind of fell off of that, and I want to try and force myself. I don't want to say force myself. It's more like because it is like infinitely easier to like go on social media and like spend hours scrolling on Twitter than doing anything else. You kind of got to like force yourself to be like, no, I'm going to go do this thing that at first might not sound as appealing as dopamine hits. And then you're like, yeah, I get like the long-term dopamine hit that's better for me of reading a beautiful poem. I'm trying to like underline the lines that I really like. That's what I've kind of got on the go. I am technically also reading Blue Lily, Lily Blue, which is the third book in the Raven Cycle series by Maggie, stiefvater, but that is kind of paused right now. I got almost 50 pages into it and I was enjoying it, but I'm like, I don't know, the slump was hitting and I was feeling like I wanted something else. Once I'm back on my better like reading routine, I guess, I will pick this up back up. Probably I'll start it from the beginning because I'm only like 45 pages into it. I didn't read the first two books that long ago, but I'll probably do a quick refresher of what happened in the first two books. But yeah, this is like, I don't know. I don't know what I can say about this one because this is the third in a quartet. That's the word for four, I think. It's a third in a quartet. The series overall just follows this group of friends who are looking for this Welsh king. It's said that whoever wakes him up is granted a wish. And so, yeah, they're on this quest to wake him up. What is going on? Okay, I've noticed here, maybe it's just because of where I'm living, people in Toronto are so impatient. Like, people in Vancouver are kind of brutal at times. Depending on where you are, it changes. I find in my experience, some of the driving in, Greater Vancouver, not great, but like my goodness, some of these Toronto drivers so impatient. I get that there's like more cars and more people, but like my god. Anyways, yeah, that's all I really have to say about the Raven Cycle because a lot of stuff kind of builds up over the books, but that's all you really need to going into it is about this group of friends that meets this girl who is the daughter of a psychic and their paths are intertwined. I then wanted to just talk about like some of the other books that I brought with me. Here we go. I grabbed them. Pretty self-explanatory. I brought The Raven King with me, which is the fourth book in the Raven Cycle series. I'm excited to read that once I eventually finish Blue Lily, Lily Blue. I'm going to put it out there by the end. Like I do think I'm going to try and dedicate this month to reading We Breed Lions and If Beale Street Could Talk. And then I have a book club book I need to read. I'm saying next month, if my reading kind of continues at the pace it's going, because I'm also working full time, I am going to try and dedicate next month to doing Raven Cycle, like finally finishing that off. And then maybe kind of, I don't know, I think there's more books, like more spin-off books that follow characters in the series. Like I think Ronan has a book written about him. So yeah, I'll see about like doing the rest of the thing next month. And then other book I want to read during the summer while I'm here is an Oresteia by Carson, and it has Agamemnon, Electra, and Orestes. I read Autobiography of Red at the start of this year, and I really, really loved it. And like, I loved the language. And I have seen there's like the one exchange in this book that always goes viral every time it's posted. The one exchange between Pylades and Orestes, that is, I'll take care of you. Orestes says, it's rotten work. And Pylades says, not to me, not if it's you. And I think I see that, and I'm just like, I think that's so beautiful. It's like, it reminds me of the one thing that's like, he ain't heavy, he's my brother. I was looking at this recently, which is why it just came to my head. But yeah, that one story that is the little girl carrying a baby, and when someone asks if she was tired, she says, no, he's not heavy, he's my brother. And I just think something about like the things you do for the people you love, and it's like, why wouldn't I do them? I love that person, even if the rest of this doesn't follow that like type of style, I guess, because I know that this is a mix of plays and everything. I'm just so excited to read this. And then the last one I brought with me is Batman comic. It's A Death in the Family. It is by Jim Starlin, Marv Wolfman, Jim Aparo, and George Perez. I really wanted to get myself into reading more comics this year. I don't know, because I'm someone who very much engages with like the kind of like Bat family dynamics on like secondhand on social media, or like through like stories that people write and stuff like that. Like some people kind of like do fan fiction where they write like based off something that happened, and I love that type of stuff. I've been reading some of the stuff with like Batman and DC, and I know that people fucking hate it when you do that, when you like don't actually have the source material. And like I've been seeing like whole think posts about how people hate how much the Bat family stuff and like a lot of the secondhand stuff that gets written about them ends up mischaracterizing them, or like completely misrepresenting their relationships and stuff like that. And I just, considering I'm someone who's guilty of that, I feel like I can enjoy both, you know? So yeah, I do want to try and read this comic though. And I do love Tim, so I think that's why I want to read this. And also I do love angst. I do love Batman having angst. I want to find out more about Jason. I want to find out more about Tim, and I think this is the place, this is where I should go. I have a friend who told me to tell him when I'm reading this because he also wants to read it too, and I think I just need to take the plunge, be like, hey buddy, he actually will probably watch this. We need to make the plan to fucking read this, okay? It's gonna happen July or August. We're setting a time and we're fucking doing it before I leave Toronto. So that's kind of, oh wait, I have one more book to show you. I have from the library The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead, which I haven't started yet. I literally just picked this up today from the library using my lovely Toronto Public Library card. Thank you so much, Toronto. This is our book club book. I don't know, we tend to do like kind of monthly-ish basis for book club, but yeah, this is our chosen book club book right now. I was originally going to buy it from B&V, but they managed to have what felt like most other books by Colson Whitehead except for this one. Either way, I'm excited to read it. This is about boys who go to Nickel Academy, which is based off of the real Dozier School for Boys, which I think was in Florida. I didn't hear about the Dozier School for Boys until another book I do want to read at some point is The Reformatory by Tananarive Due, and I do know that like that was also about the Dozier, or inspired by the Dozier School for Boys. Can't confirm it was in Florida, but yeah, this one is also like inspired by the Florida Dozier School for Boys, even though this wasn't the one I recommended or like I put forward for us to read. This was the one I wanted to read the most. I'm very excited to read this. I think after If Beale Street Could Talk, I think I'm gonna crack into this. So this was chattier than I expected it to be. I think it's just been a while since I've filmed anything, or like, and then the last time I filmed something, I'd let it sit for long enough that I didn't do anything with it. If you're seeing this, then that means that I actually went through and edited this. So snaps for that. I'm gonna continue to stress out about the Stanley Cup final, and I hope everyone else is doing okay, is enjoying the summer. I mean, I guess Southern Hemisphere is going into winter. I hope you're enjoying whatever season you're in. Enjoy everything that you're reading, watching, listening to, and have a good rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this. Take care and goodbye.